Greetings and salutations, gamers. Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which three podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, the Insipid Ghost, and host of the Xbox Expansion Pass. Today, I am joined once again by my big brother and yours, Mr. Ainsley Bowden. Good to see you, sir.
What is happening, my guys? Well, you haven't even introduced you. I'm so excited to talk about the fact that all three of us were in the same place for the first time in history. But yeah, man, I'm good. Way too many games to play. Honestly, way too many games to even talk about that the three of us played. But I'm looking forward to chatting it up. So yeah.
No, I agree. Last week on XEP, we didn't even get to talk about SGF because we had so much to cover in the showcase.
Yeah. Now, do we start shaming Joe for playing games on the show now, or do we wait? Like, what's
I'm pro play games during show. I purposely left my Steam Deck downstairs so that you, Ainsley Bowden, would know that I was focused on you, because I could play and talk the whole time. I'm that guy.
And you know my thoughts on this subject.
I know you do. I know you do.
And it's very annoying when we're in the middle of a game. He's like, "Why can't you guys just have a conversation and like play the game and strategize at the same time?" It's like, well,
millennials, am I right? They can't focus on things.
Why can't you guys multitask? I can have a full conversation and play my normal ability, which isn't great anymore.
Right.
But you're playing games poorly and talking poorly. So I mean, you're really not accomplishing much.
I've never done talk poorly in my life. We are also joined today by the host, or one of the hosts of the PlayStation Trophy Room. Wait, no, the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
My deepest condolences there.
Please.
It is good to talk to you once again, Joseph Moran. How are you, buddy?
Yeah. I hope they make Batman exclusive and they take it away from you. That's all I hope. I just want your misery. I'm doing great, dude. I'm very happy coming off of SGF. It was first time and long time seeing y'all. And it was just awesome to get to like hang out with you guys as much as I did. I didn't think like we would spend like most of the days, with each other. So it was nice.
It was nice.
And also Ains is a bed hawk.
It's long legs, dude. He's short. I have long legs. Make room. You know what I mean?
I know. Just I don't always want to be the cream sometimes. Sometimes I want to be the cookie.
We did have a good time.
We're back.
We're back. We're back.
No, it was a fantastic time. I was standing in the JW hanging out with a bunch of people and waiting for Joe to show up because he had some plane troubles.
He did.
Or, flight troubles, I should say. And I see him across the bar there walking in, and I got so excited to finally meet him in person. It was great.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Yeah, and then we also saw you, Luke.
I don't like the way you said that. I just want to tell you that.
No, but we were together a whole lot of the trip, including that amazing 1 hour bus ride to IOI, which was well worth it, I might add.
Now hold on.
Go for it.
I liked the IOI showcase. It wasn't worth the hour drive. You know what I mean? But if that had just been a thing we were at nearby, we would have been happy with it.
Who's we?
Were you not there? You were there. Well, you were on the bus with me, were you?
Yeah, but you said we would have been happy with it. I'm like, who's we?
You didn't.
That was not a good showcase.
No, I enjoyed it. The
main reason why, because the Hitman stuff is great. The main reason why is we went through all that trouble to get over there to see First Light 007.
Mm-hmm.
They showed the trailer from Summer Game Fest and gave us no new information, literally zero.
Let's context. Let's set the stage for the listeners here, real quick, just to be clear. So listeners, dear people, we went to Summer Game Fest, the showcase with Jeff Keighley. We watched him bring out Kojima. He was very happy about that. We watched him talk about puppets, and then he looked kind of miserable the rest of the show. But we watched SGF. Enjoyed it. Got to see all our friends. We're all hugging. I have a great anecdote about a trophy room fan that was very excited to meet me and then dunk on me, which was funny. After the SGF, we're all coming out, seeing everybody, hugging. And I was like, all right, are you going to IOI? Are you going to? Because we all got these really cool invites to go to IO Interactive's showcase. And they were pitching it as a 007 event. You'll see more of James Bond. We'll talk about Hitman.
Mind's Eye.
Mind's Eye, which honestly looks cool, and then it just kind of
hadn't released at the time, to be clear.
So like what we saw did look cool. But we all go to these buses, and it's like, are you on the list? So we feel so exclusive because we're on a list. We jump on there. There's all these like content creator people that are, I don't know if famous is the right word, but like I saw people that are way more popular than XCP, and it was Ainsley, and so we
no, I mean like a bunch of well-known journalists were there.
Yeah. We get on the bus, and it moves super slow through the streets of LA, taking us to Hollywood. So it took an hour to get there. People like journalists were making the like, oh, sorry, I gotta use the bathroom, and they were like coming up the aisle to use the bathroom, and they like had the look of shame on them. It was so frustrating. But once we got there, a lot of pomp and circumstance going on. Saw Mads Mikkelsen.
Yep.
People, giving out free drinks, all these cool stations. This was the Switch 2's like release day or the day after.
It was a nice place too.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, it was well done, but the hour-long ride to get there jaded everybody. So that somebody take over from there.
And also, they didn't show us more of Batman, James Bond, because like during the PlayStation showcase, which I thought was good this year. I thought it was really good. Fun
it was
time.
a good showcase.
Did you call it a showcase? Not a showcase.
Whatever.
No first party.
State of play.
It showed good stuff. Just wasn't first party.
I'm at the point of like truly, and I know this sounds stupid. It was like, who cares, man? Like all Xbox and stuff is here. It
matters if you're gonna host it. That's the thing, bud. You can't PlayStation State of Play and then nothing.
You can't have an Xbox token. That was the
You shut up. Like that's a dumb effect.
Cool.
But here's the thing.
Cool.
PlayStation doesn't have anything to show.
There's nothing
right,
to show
that
right
too.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed Ghost again, and they showed Tokon, which looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But otherwise, but no, I mean, it was a fine state of play. I had no problem with it. But anyway, IOI.
All right. So like during that that state of play, they're like, and we'll show you more soon. And so I genuinely thought, I was like, oh, soon. Oh, we saw it again at games, what Summer Game Fest. So I truly thought like this event, oh, this is where they're gonna drop, maybe another little thing of Bond or a little detail, maybe like the actors out there or something. And so seeing the same trailer, and the poor hitman walkthrough, and then the weird dancers, and then it was an odd mind's eye showcase of a level. Like you could see things were. It
was their first showcase too.
Yeah, and so like it was. It wasn't like awful cringe, but it was.
They got a lot right. They missed the mark.
Yeah,
they got a lot right.
They missed the mark on what they wanted to show because Mind's Eye already had a stink to it, and I haven't played it, so no judgment. But it didn't. It already had press previews not looking good.
Yeah.
They start with Hitman, which is again, everyone loves Hitman, but Hitman 3 has been out for a long time. The Casino Royale thing is cool. I like it. But it was like 20 minutes on that.
It was a long time.
And then it was like going to 007, and it's like, all right, finally, here we go. And it was like trailer coming out, next year, or whatever they said. And then they went right to Mind's Eye, and I'm like, what the hell was that? It was like 5 minutes. And then they had a dance show. This is not a joke. I don't know if people watched it at home. I don't know what was being broadcast. They turn off the lights, and people have neon lined outfits, and they did a dance show that included Iron Man. Can anyone to this day explain why Iron Man was in that dance show?
Nope.
No idea.
No clue.
Like
very weird.
It was odd.
Maybe
that's like that particular dancer's famous for that. I don't know.
Oh, we were all starving because we had been at the showcase for hours.
Right.
Then the bus ride, then the show, and they only had drinks. There was no snacks or food or anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
It was fun to. I will say what I liked about the iOS showcase. Mads Mikkelsen was there. And so was David Bates and the guy that plays Hitman's voice. And they enjoy their roles. They clearly enjoyed their roles. They were having fun. So that was cool. And then you saw a lot of like the industry was there. Like everybody was there.
Yeah.
And so you'd go out and get drinks, bump in, talk to people. Some people would be very like, oh, hey, how are you? Others would be like, oh, it's cool. And great conversations. Star of our whole weekend, I think, has to be Alex from SG running around, grinning ear to ear, talking to every single person he possibly can. And that was the most fun thing to watch. Was it not?
Yeah.
Also,
no, he was starstruck all weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like dragged him away from Skill Up at one point. I'm like, come on, just come on. And Skill Up goes.
Come on.
Yeah, he was talking to literally everybody as if he knew him, which I told him from the start because we've all been there.
Yep.
And I said, look, dude, because he doesn't know when he's coming back. He lives in El Salvador.
Yeah.
This was a big thing for him, his first event. And I was like, just do it. Because if you don't, you're going to get home and you're going to regret that you didn't say hello or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so he walked up to everybody, Jeff Keighley, Neil Druckmann, all the creators we saw. Yeah, Druckmann was there. The only person I stopped him from, and I think I told you this, Luke, was we were walking through the JW and Phil Spencer was on the couch talking to another guy who I didn't recognize, but Phil Spencer's handler, for lack of a better word, wasn't even there.
Yeah.
And so she's always there. So I told Alex, he goes, "Oh, there's Phil." And I said, "Look," I said, him and that guy are having a one-on-one conversation. He's clearly into it. Now's not the time to walk over there. So that's the only time. But other than that, he had a great time. And
but also he went to the Death Stranding event alone, and I told him not to. And that's when things were heating up.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, don't do that. What are you?
He did.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. He was about to get a free ticket back, is all I'm gonna say.
And that was one of his favorite. That was one of his favorite events. He loved it, so I'm glad he was fine and all that. But he, what was I just getting to? It was funny because we were in. We'll be talking about a bunch of games, but the funniest one, speaking of like co-creators and journalists, me and Alex went into Code Vein 2 with Bandai Namco, and the other three people in there were Dustin and Brad from Last Stand Media and Jake Baldino.
Oh,
and
cool.
I got a picture of all five of us together, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like Jake's got he's one of the biggest content creators in gaming, you know?
Yep.
And and it's Alex's first time as a contributor for SG sitting there on the couch next to him. And I was like, this is cool.
When I walked into Code Vein, they brought me in and I was the last person to get into that one. Sat me down in the chair, watched the whole event. Lights come on, things over. Paris Lily was in front of me, turns around and just goes, hi. I was like, hello. I was like, hi. The funniest.
You again.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. He was like, how does he do this? Like, I'm everywhere.
Can't escape this son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, we got a couple questions in here. Gamefire.
Go.
I know Gamefire. Good to see you. Did anyone get drunk from free drinks? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We didn't see any crazy activity. There's no crazy activity, but at least none that I saw. But absolutely, people were tipsy, empty stomachs. It was hot. Yeah.
I took off my shirt.
Shout out to LA, by the way, for not being a scorcher while we were there.
We got lucky.
True.
But
also just being a disgusting city.
It's probably not the week to say that, bud.
LA, the problem with LA, not the problem, but it's massive.
Lawless.
And there's some areas that are just a train wreck, and there's other areas that are too rich for normal humans to be at, and you get literally everything in between.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
and some people are just there to clean up the trash. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. Yeah, it was fun though. And guys, please do drop your questions in as we go, because that was fun.
Especially about any games, because we played and saw so many games. We probably either saw or played anything you saw that weekend. So we don't have time to talk about them all.
XEP, between Logan and I, we did 26 games.
Wow.
And I'm sure Xbox era with more people did more. I'm sure at SG you guys did about the same or more.
We were pretty similar in that vein. We had 29 appointments. I don't know how many games we checked out.
Yeah. Well, let's before we dive into what we played, because there's a lot, right? Yeah. Was there anything from the showcase of SGF that stood out to you guys as a memory at this point? Because you don't have to have it in front of you, but now that the show's over, in my mind, nothing is jumping at me as saying that was so great. But I remember feeling like that looks cool. And it was Mortal Shell. That looks cool. Ill. That looks cool. Resident Evil. That looks cool. But I didn't have a stand up clapping moment kind of thing. Did you guys?
I'm happy. I'm happy that the consent. I was the consensus of way too many JRPG.
Yeah.
hyper sexualized titties be out games. There was like one point where it's like I turned to Tegan, who's sitting right next to me. I'm like, dude, for every like chick with double G's, there's like one twink, you know. It's like at least like even the playing field here, y'all. But like one and like one was like super shameless. It was like shot of her chest and like her zippering up, like you could just see. I was like,
oh yeah. I remember that.
What are we, teenagers? What are we doing here?
That's how you know we're getting old, because we're like, this is ridiculous.
Exactly. I'm like,
why is everything boobs at these shows?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's crazy.
And then like the kids behind us,
there was a good run of SGF where you really couldn't tell it was a new game. You know what I mean? And I was worried. I didn't know how to say it in like respectfully, but it was just so many back-to-back JRPG-esque or weeb.
That middle section was a lull. Like I was just sitting there like,
yeah. It was like, this doesn't look different. Yeah, this doesn't look different than the last thing.
Because there was a cool like game made by the little Little Nightmare devs, where it's like top-down horror. You have a gun, and you like it's like every shot kind of like counts. It's like top-down. It was really interesting looking, and that one caught my eye, as well as Resident Evil, which like at that point we could talk about like we knew we were gonna like see something from them,
right?
And so we're like, what? The secret thing can't be Pragmata. It has to be, and so that was like a really fun tease at the end. But other than that, nothing.
Capcom showed out.
Yeah,
Capcom had a great show. Yeah, I have a couple. So you mentioned Mortal Shell 2. I think opening with that, because I'm a metal guy, and having that type of trailer, which was pure metal, I thought was really cool. I was really into that. The game Ill you mentioned, I think looks awesome. I love horror games, so no surprise. I think the one of the two, I guess, that I'm really interested to see how they shape up are Atomic Heart 2 and The Cube, which are both from Mundfish. So Atomic Heart, when it was first shown, looked amazing. And then when I played it, I didn't really vibe with it very well. It didn't really impress me. So I want to see, again, Atomic Heart 2 looks wild as hell. I want to see if it can actually deliver on that promise with better writing and some better kind of narrative and whatnot. And then The Cube, if you missed this, The Cube is same company, but an MMO shooter. So when we talked about this on Bigcast, a lot of people were saying they're looking at that to hopefully be good to replace their Destiny addiction. Because it's going to be a really unique kind of sci-fi-ish MMO space. I just don't know if Mundfish can.
Sorry.
That's what I mean. I don't know if Mundfish can deliver all of that. I don't know how they're planning to deliver all of that. So we'll see, but it's interesting. There was one other one called, what was the one where it was like, again, horror, and you were shooting the things and they were like blobs that were like separating. I think it's called like The Abyss or something.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah. Something
that looks cool.
I'm trying to look for it right now.
Yeah, that looks very cool too.
I'm on Season Gaming Summer Game Fest Hub, and I just want a list, and I just can't find it. It's crazy talk over here. It's crazy.
We did not do a list of all the breakdowns. We did a list of our coverage. Which is a work in progress. I mean, there's too much.
It's just so much. I put out 5 this week. I'm not done.
That said, Liza P. Overture was same date shadow dropped at the show, which everybody's been saying. Kyle just last night on the trophy room, he was very high on Liza P. Overture. So
Travis reviewed it.
Yeah.
He same. I think he gave it a really high score, either an 8 or a 9. He said it's really, really good, and he said the story is actually excellent.
So it's an expansion to the game, like an add-on, like a DLC.
End of Abyss.
12 hours, he said.
Oh wow!
So chunky. Yeah. Okay.
Chunky. Yeah, it might as well be a sequel. End of Abyss was the one you were thinking. Ains.
End of Abyss. Thank you, Anubis. Yeah. Yes,
Anubis is the good. Anubis is the one, by the way. And I'm gonna go get that Doom statue because I want to show you. He made these. Yeah. I want to show you this, Ains. So I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So let's see. I'll get some questions while he's doing that. Mortal Shell trailer was so good. Hell yeah, it was. Hey, that's Ray. What's up, Ray? Ray is our video editor over at SG. His first time hanging out with us. Let me see.
Nice hanging with you, friend.
Nicholas Johnson says, out of all the games, was there any you weren't impressed with or didn't think is good? So I think for me, guys, so we can see you guys. One thing that stood out to me, I've been doing shows now since 2018, Z3, and then obviously the COVID gap. But what surprised me this year was that almost everything I played and saw was awesome.
Yeah.
From small to big. And every show, usually when you go to these things, is like, here's the ones that stood out. Here's the ones I checked out, but I don't really care for or think they're going to be very good. I didn't have that this year. I don't know about you guys, but I think regardless of what you thought about the showcases, the actual games we got to play and see were probably the best crop yet for me.
Yeah, every game I played was good to great.
Yes.
In Summer Game Fest play days, there was one game where I was like, I don't think this is going to catch on, and I hate that for you because this dev was so proud of it, and I'm not going to tell you which one because it would skew anything. And like they everything I saw 20, like I said, 26 games, and I played 20 plus of them, like I think 23 of them, and I was just like, oh, this is cool, this is fun, which is awesome, right? Like that's what you want. And I have so much that stood out to me as being awesome that like I'm in my mind, like we should just bring up a game and talk about it at this point.
There was nothing bad. Truly.
I do want to show this off real quick, Ains, before I'm
let me put this comment down.
This is what Anubis made.
Ooh.
This is 3D printed.
Holy
Doomslayer.
Oh, you have a real 3D printer, Anubis, because my son 3D prints, but we don't, not to that level. That's awesome.
And like it is insane.
Holy shit.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
is that a commercial 3D printer, Anubis, at work or something? Or are you just rich and
he has a store that he like sells stuff with.
Okay. Well then, you're doing it professionally. Cool.
And this is just amazing. And I will tell you what, like my heart was sad when not sad, let me rephrase. I opted to get, go ahead.
Sorry, no, finish your thought. Sorry.
I opted to get the console wrap and controller instead of getting the statue. Yeah. Just and like everything else with Summer Game Fest, right? This more than made up for it. Like this I didn't know he was making this. He sent it with the XEP pins, and like the detail on this, it sits on my shelf next to my Revenant, my BFG 9000. It sits over there prominently, and it's just amazing. Nice. And that was Anubis, and it was
that's awesome.
So good. So good.
It's really cool. The crazy thing is I don't have one. I don't know if my name got lost or what happened. But,
I'll give you his store link, Ains. I got you.
The P1S, that's cool. I didn't know a P1S could do that, Anubis. So that's very cool. My son has probably one just below that, which is cool. So good stuff. Another question real quick. Did people start sharing deep, dark secrets too? Any PlayStation folks admit they secretly love Xbox? I don't think anything scandalous came up that I'm aware of. I'm sure there was. I just probably wasn't privy to it, of course.
We had really good conversations with industry people, and they were genuinely interesting because people do talk a bit more freely, whether they're tired or drinks or they just in this setting, because you're in a media setting for play days. Yeah. And so there are content creators, there are high level journalists, and everywhere in between. And like, so it's a lot of enthusiast press. And like we heard lots of good conversations. We had lots of good conversations, but the general vibe I got was that, just to address the joke in his comment, like there's not anybody that thinks that way. No one's like, oh
no,
PlayStation, Xbox.
We try to tell people that all the time. Like, it's not how it functions.
No, like truly,
it doesn't happen.
No one gives a fuck. Like it's
nope.
No one cares, and like that's why it's actually like it's hard for like a show like mine to like get guests, because I feel like I always have to come out with the premise of like, no, we don't do any of that. It's like, we don't care. It's okay. So none of that.
Didn't a good example of this, and I don't think Brian Altano is going to mind I share this. Brian Altano stopped by our table at dinner one night.
I missed him, dude. Brian's awesome.
He was so awesome. And I know that the group saw him several times over, but like he stopped by our dinner table one night, and Lightweight Gamer was so happy to see him, and I know Logan was very happy to see him. and he was joking. He was totally joking, but he's like, a PlayStation, Xbox, because like we said at the names of our shows or something like that. Yeah. And he was like, I'm kidding. And it's like, yeah, we don't care either, man. We just play. Like we're best friends. We don't care.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So it was just a fun time. Machine XP. No, Joe does not have an Xbox. He sold it, what, 2 years ago?
Yep, but I do. I have the Starfield controller right next to me.
It's why this is our last show. We banned him.
Oh no. Oh jeez. Oh, no. But no, it's also like really cool to see some of the folks that like listen to your show, both like industry and out. That was very surreal to me. Mm-hmm. So like for Brian to go, hey, listen, I love what both of you guys do. Like that was really, I was like, holy shit, because you've inspired me on so many levels. So like for you, even if it's just saying it to say it, like that touched me deeply. There was one time, and Luke, you're gonna get to it, so I'll do the preamble to it. Mm-hmm. And we had one person come up to us. He's like, "Are you Mr. Badman?" I'm like, "Uh-huh, yeah. Yes." He's like, "Oh my god, I love your show." And he's like, Are you Miss Lightweight? And he's like, "Yeah, that's me." "Oh my god, I love you. You're a great addition to the show." And then he turns and he sees Kyle, and this kid loses his mind. He's like, "Kyle Stevenson, I love you." Like, and then as he walks away, I'm like, "So I'm the fan favorite, right, Kyle?" Because that's the way that he always tells me. I'm like, "Bullshit." But yeah, like those moments are really great. So like to have a few of them, and then he asks, he's like, "Is Luke around? Is he doing whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, just give him shit when you see him. He's around, just give him a little shit."
So you know what he did, Ains? This kid Logan and I are just walking, right? And somebody came up and we were just kind of caught off guard because we're like, "Oh, there's Rihanna. Oh, there's this person. And then this kid runs up to us. I've never seen him before, and he's like 12 looking, which means I'm old, right? And he goes, "Are you Captain Logan and Luke Lore?" And then we're like, "Yeah, how's it going, man? What's up?" And he goes, "Oh my gosh, I love the trophy room." And we're just like, "What?" That's great.
That's right.
That's good stuff.
That's cool. I felt like I could have been like, "Do you want a picture?" He'd be like, "No."
No. But do you know where Joe and Kyle are? Are they around here somewhere? Yeah. Shout out to Ade, one of our regulars. Does having some knowledge about possible games at SGF prior to the show spoil it for you? So I don't know about you guys, but I do my best to avoid those avenues nowadays. And in fact, I've removed myself from a lot of Discord groups and other things where things like that get discussed. So I go in pretty much blind nowadays, which honestly I enjoy a lot more.
Same. Addy, does it ruin anything? It does not spoil it for me, but I purposely do what Ains does. I don't go check some of the people that like specialize in that because I don't want to know. And honestly, my life is just too busy anyway. Yeah. Like in this last 2 weeks, just coincident. Like last year I could have paid attention. This year I could not have. And it wouldn't have, like, I'm a firm believer, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get spoiled because we kind of had rumblings of Gears last year, Ains, right? Mm-hmm. Ains isn't paying.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But like seeing it pop on the screen, that was the deal, you know?
Yeah. Like there are like a few things that we knew walking into it. I don't want to say them off the rip, but like, I think there was like 4 or 5 announcements we genuinely knew because we already booked appointments to them. Yeah. But like, it's the fact of seeing them. That's where the pop actually happens. So I don't get like spoilers. Also in like this line of quote unquote work that we do, it should get spoiled constantly. So like we can't I can't allow myself to have that mindset because I just know things are going to get spoiled anyway. So I've kind of changed the way I think where it's like, oh, I know this is going to be here and I'm very excited to just see it rather than have that big surprise. Because I think, Luke, what you said also builds to it. Seeing everybody else's genuine reaction to it, that's what feeds my reaction. So, yeah, great question.
So let's just kind of riff on stuff we saw at Play Days, answer questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Please start. I'm literally going to pour some scotch. I'm not even joking. It's right there. So I'm listening, but go ahead and keep talking.
All right. So one of the things that let's start with Capcom because Capcom delivered. Ames, I don't know what that was.
He poked his head out just to
like Capcom.
Yeah.
So we were all privy to it was a behind closed doors event that Capcom did at Summer Game Fest Play Days, and we got to see Pragmata, Oni Musha, and Resident Evil 9. And I feel like Pragmata is the one we could talk about first for this one. For our demo, Logan played and went hands-on, and I took notes and talked to the devs.
Okay.
But what a strange game that looks like it's Kojima-esque in some ways. But it did impress me in a way that I wasn't expecting it to. What about you?
This is one of my games of show. So like truly, I loved it. Walking away from it, I think my game of show now being days removed, it has to be Luminous Arise, which we'll talk about. But like Pragmata is genuinely a shooter that is thinking outside the box. Because how Pragmata works, the whole gameplay loop is it's kind of like it's quick action mixed with puzzle solving, like legit puzzle solving. So it's kind of like the old Snake games on your Windows XP, where when you aim at an enemy and you're just shooting at them, it opens up a screen you open up a screen that hacks them, because if you just shoot them with your bullets, they're completely invincible. But if you
the faster you do the hack, the more
Right.
damage you do, right?
The faster you do the hack, the faster you get to actually do damage to them. But also, if you run into these nodes in a certain order, you also do more damage to the thing and you stun them. So that's the whole loop, is you're trying to solve these little puzzles quickly using your face buttons to navigate the screen while you're dodging projectiles and while you're shooting at the same exact time. So like your hands are always busy. And while it sounds weird, because you're constantly moving the controller, you're constantly engaged with the game, it adds for a really compelling loop to it. And the fact that you're not running into like, instead of having just a shotgun with, ammo you pick up, you find shotguns that have like 5 shots. So you're always like picking up new power weapons and experimenting during combat. So it's a real good time. I like Pragmata a lot. It also has that weird Kojima energy where it's like,
I have no girl android.
Yeah. You got Isaac from Dead Space in there, and it's weird, but I dug it.
That mini game was very active reload like. That's a good way to think of it. It's like an active reload.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say please keep talking, because Alex wrote a preview we're gonna have going up, but remember I had to leave Capcom before this because I went to mixtape, so I didn't see Pragmata.
Oh yeah.
So the game that Joe described, and he did a good job describing it. But it's not like you are stopping and going into a whole different game of puzzles. Like it's like an active reload, and if you miss it or you don't do it well, you do less damage. The better you do, the more damage you'll do, because you got to take down a shield and do raw damage kind of simultaneously. But it's got this weird sci-fi Kojima energy, because to Joe's point, you're in this like Dead Space looking suit. Really, it looks like it's out of Death Stranding, if I mean honestly.
Sure.
Then on the riding on your back, like piggyback style, is this little girl in a dress, and she's actually the android that's doing the hacking. And so it's very odd, but I think that's part of this game's charm. That's what they're going for. So it was nice to see Pragmata, because my understanding, because I like honestly I'd forgotten this was a thing. When we told people Pragmata, they were like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And so it was nice to see it playable, and everything I saw, there are Kojima type vibes here, but also if you ever played Lost Planet back in the 360 days, looks a lot like Lost Planet. So that's cool. I feel like this is a game to watch, and Capcom has not delivered bad games lately. Even Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, a weird one. Shout out to its Switch 2 release. Good game. Yeah. Beat it, loved it. That was Game Pass galore for me last year, and that one was really fun. But like Pragmata was the least impressive of the impressive games from Capcom this year, and they did a good job. So like I was
all 3 were hot. Yeah, I mean I've only seen the B-roll in the preview, but Oni Musha
Oh,
looks
bro.
great.
Can we talk
Holy
about it?
shit. Go
Let's
for it.
talk about it.
No, not allowed.
All right, moving on. Oni Musha. So we went into we knew it was, so behind closed doors demo, guys, this was whereas Pragmata was a like hands-on session, this was hands-off. And so they would bring in groups of journalists and creators in at a time, and you'd go in and it's a theater presentation. So you sit down in your chairs and you're next to people of various levels of creatorship, right? And I don't even remember who was in my room, because like I recognized him and I didn't care. I think like it was like this showcase was so good. So we knew, or they started off and like you had an expectation there'd be Resident Evil there, because they kind of like told you unannounced game, and then once Resident Evil was announced, it was like, all right, this is what you're seeing. So we go sit down for the Oni Musha Resident Evil presentation, and Oni Musha starts. And I've never played Oni Musha really, like a little bit. They sent us codes a while back just to like get our feet wet. And I will tell you what, the first thing I thought was, this is not what I expected, because I was worried we'd get more of the like, I don't know how to say it, like weeb centric type game from SGF. Yeah. I know that I don't mean for it to sound rude, but it does. But no, this was third person action. It was like a hybrid of Souls and Ninja Gaiden. So if that somehow makes sense. And this game ripped. It looked beautiful. The combat was violent and gory and bloody, and the souls capture mechanic was really cool. Special weapons, special movements. I mean, mark my words, Oni Musha is going to surprise people. This game looks amazing.
Yeah, I echo everything.
Yeah, I do too. You said you didn't play it on PS2 era when it was big?
No.
Oh, neither of you?
Nope.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm super excited because Oni Musha, I still have my PS2 copies. Like, they were fantastic games at the time back then, which now is 20 plus years ago. They were seen as kind of samurai Resident Evil. Mm-hmm. They had that kind of perspective shifting. They were kind of horror-esque. Mm-hmm. And this one is kind of, it looks and feels like everything I would want out of a modern Oni Musha. So I thought the personality, the little boss battle they showed with the kind of creepy dude, and how they talked through it was really cool. And yeah, it looks fantastic. I mean, Capcom is literally on fire right now. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I look at that game and I'm like, that is just like the 15-minute impression of it. I walked out going, yeah, that's gonna probably be up for one of my games of the year. Like whenever this game comes out, if it's really 2026, this looks a game right up my alley, and like the combat is just so sick. Like it's just, man, I was impressed with it.
Nice. Yeah. They got a famous actor to do like the facial recognition stuff, or like it's his face of some kind of fit for that genre. And I will tell you, like, I'm on a high for these type of games because Assassin's Creed Shadows was just so good for me. I had such a good time with it. The samurai, the ninja approach, the third person action sword play. Yes, here for it. Oni Musha I was just like, oh, this looks like more, not Assassin's Creed, but more of this aesthetic that I can't imagine this game isn't in many people's game of the year conversations. It just looked that good. So it was awesome.
And then Resident Evil scared the shit out of me.
Oh, dude. Okay.
God. Yeah.
Resident. So, Ains, did you get to see Oni Musha?
So, yeah, it shows true story. They showed Oni Musha first, right, in the presentation. And then my mixtape appointment was happening. Ray was originally going to go to mixtape. I was going to stay for RE9. Mm-hmm. He's a horror guy, and he had done us a big favor at the watch party. You know, so I was like, dude, you enjoy it. I'll go take care of mixtape. It starts. I literally pulled out my phone, emailed PR, and said, I'm going to be late for the appointment at mixtape. Mm-hmm. And I just stayed and watched Resident Evil, which actually ended up working out anyway. But I think from a presentation standpoint, easily my favorite thing I saw at the whole weekend.
Yeah,
it was Resident Evil.
It was stunning because it takes you through this first person demo. Everything looks great. Everything's impressive, but you're just not quite sure what you're getting, right? Because they purposely played it close to the chest. You're getting chased by this weird creature throughout. But the coolest moment was they jump on and they're like, oh, and by the way, you can switch to third person whenever you like. And our room started clapping.
Legit a standing ovation from my room.
Yeah, people
Like,
were
it was
super
nuts.
happy.
Yeah.
So
That said,
cool.
boys, I don't want to stay on this too long because we gotta talk Xbox stuff. I do want to talk about yeah. That's the name of the show. I do want to talk about our individual games of show.
Okay.
Yeah. If we don't mind, because
Okay.
I'm looking at that title and I know people are gonna be like, said you're gonna talk about future Xbox. So, Luke, I bring this over to you, dude. What was your game of show? If you had to sit there and go, that was it, because I know there's so many great games, but like, what was the one that spoke to you the most?
So I private DM'd the two of you the XCP list of stuff we saw, so we can have some ideas if that would help you guys.
That's just a picture of your penis you sent me.
It's very big. One of the
zoom
so I
in.
have several that I do want to mention while we're on air.
Okay.
But one of them that stood out to me, and Joe, I know you loved this one as well, was a VR title of all things called Reach. Now, this was such a great experience. And like, you can't tell the story without mentioning Shuhei Yoshida, because like he's helping this team, which felt very random to me, because like, wait, you're helping this VR title? But there's a VR title called Reach from the guys that made Synapse. It's funny because whenever you demo a VR title, they're like, are you okay with VR? Do you need to sit down? Do you want help with it? I'm like, bitch, strap me in. Let's go. I'm ready. Like, I know what I'm doing. And they're like, well, everyone says that. I'm like, back off.
Looks like I've been doing VR porn for years. Like, let me go.
Actually, never have.
It's weird because he sat out on the stage. He was just like,
he just sat there and expected it to work. It was odd. I don't know.
Come on, y'all. I've never once. It seems so uninteresting to me. All right. So anyway, I sit down for Reach.
I'm so bored.
And before I started, Shuhei Yoshida's like, are you excited to play? I was like, I've never seen it. It looks like I'm doing some platforming running on. He goes, no. You are an action superstar. You are going through a movie. I was like, oh, okay. I strap in and I start, you run, you leap over things, you're climbing stuff. You have a bow and arrow that you have to like pop to headshot things while a helicopter's chasing you and gunning you down. And you're navigating your VR jumps and runs and shooting different enemies as you go. Joe described it on Trophy Room as Mission Impossible. And it does feel like that. And the coolest part, and this is in the trailer, so I'm going to spoil it for our group here because I didn't know. So the very part of the demo, and I've been headshotting things, and like I would stop every time and break every wine glass with arrows just because I like watching glass break in VR. And they were all laughing and having a good old time with me because they said at the time, they were like, nobody's done this. And I'm like, yeah. And so at the very end of the demo, I hear them all going like cheering because I was doing so well. And like they're excited because I'm excited. And I run and I bust through the glass, jump out the door to catch the helicopter. And then you fall and land. And then you realize you're on a movie set after playing this crazy level. And I was just like, oh my God. And I took it off and like they were high-fiving me, handshakes. They like one of them was shaking my shoulders, which was cool. You know, like I felt like a superstar. And that was like, this is seriously awesome. So big shout out to Reach.
Oh, they went hip hop gamer on you.
They like, honestly, it was so much fun.
Because I talked to the head of marketing there, and I was just like, I love your games. I've platinum Synapse. Like, I want to sit down with this. And when I sat on the couch, they put the headset on me and everything. They're trying to walk me through it, and I'm just like, dude, I've played your game before. Like, I'm just going through it like nothing. And he literally first 2 minutes, he's like, oh, you really have played our games with the first platforming section. I'm like, yeah, man, I love what you guys do. Unfortunately, I got there literally like I only had, I think, 15 minutes with it. So I didn't get to the cool helicopter chase, but I was jumping through like windows, jumping on rooftops. That stuff was really awesome. And it really did. It felt like a chase scene out of Mission Impossible 3. And like the shooting mechanics and like the bow and arrow stuff was also incredibly competent, where like you could just sit back and like truly aim it like legitimately if you wanted to go and pretend to be in that role, or you could just like, daisy chain these things together. Anything kind of worked depending on how you want to kind of approach it. But yeah, no, like Reach VR is so goddamn good. End Dreams are incredibly talented at what they do, and I love how much they're not just supporting VR, but it does feel like they are the ones that are advancing that AA, AAA space in VR without having to. Not to say that it's bad that we see games like Deadpool or Batman, because it's awesome to see those IP, but it's like it feels like they don't even kind of need it. It's just like their games carry that weight alone. So yeah, no, I Reach VR was great.
Is it this could probably be a dumb question, so prepare to laugh. Is it happen to be coming to PSVR 2 as well, or just MetaQuest?
Yeah.
PSVR 2, yeah.
Okay.
So we played it on Quest. It's coming to PSVR 2, which is nice to see that happening in general.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, who knows? Cool. Yeah, I didn't get a chance. I saw people playing. I didn't get a chance to do it, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good one.
Yeah.
Ains, which one?
I'll say one which I know Joe's going to agree with because it's Luminous. Luminous was incredible. I talked about this on Bigcast, and I basically said if you're a Luminous fan from Vita days or PlayStation days, or if you're a Tetris Effect Connected fan, if you just like cool, hypnotic puzzle solving with awesome music, like just that whole experience, that was one of the most fun games I played all weekend by a long shot. It is mesmerizing playing that game. And that's in a area with tons of people around, just headphones, like non-VR, my nice home setup. I can't imagine what playing that game is going to be like once I get it home. But it was really fun because, one, CJ was literally working there, right? One of the people we know who used to be at EGM, and such a good dude. So we got to chat with him. But I'm sitting there talking to the other developer, playing it and kind of going through. And all of a sudden I hear King behind me. And he's like, he starts giving me crap about messing it up and then joking and stuff. And so apparently he really likes it too. So I played another level and we were having a bunch of laughs. And then I just got up from my appointment. I said, King, come on, play. And so he played right after me. And he was playing and I was joking with him. And it was a really good time, but the game is incredible.
When I tell you I loved it so much that I downloaded it on my Switch too. Or the remastered from 2017, I think.
I didn't even know it was on there.
Yeah. It's because it's just an average Switch game, but I was like, I need to work my muscle memory with this game when it comes out in the fall, because this is I think close behind like Donkey Kong. I'm not kidding you. Like, this game has become my most anticipated game this year. It is just mesmerizing is the perfect word. It seems like they just start with the energy of the last song from Tetris Effect, where you get to feel all these various emotions. Like, they start there, and it's just, it's powerful. It's brilliant puzzles. It's just, it's some of the best soundtracks in games. And the song they open with, it's just, it always feels like you're on a journey with this game. The emotions that the songs evoke while you're doing the puzzles, it's a vibe, man. It's so good.
It's wild. Yeah, I was amazed. So real quick, shout out to Diego, our brother in the chat. He asked me, "Can you lift your shirt up?" Yep, it's our SG at SGF shirt.
Look at that.
That's not what I thought he was asking you to do.
That's right.
I thought this was like some inside joke. I was like,
you got at least super chat for that. Come on. No,
it's so pale.
I can't even see anything.
Exactly. It's so bright.
I would say one other one besides Resident Evil, right? One other one that really jumped out. I have two others, so I don't know how many we're doing. One other one was Clockwork Revolution. That
wasn't Playdays. That was Showcase.
Oh, are we waiting for those? I thought it was.
We don't have to. I'm just making sure it's distinctly different. That's all.
Okay. So that's Xbox first party, obviously, in Exile. I actually I had dinner with Jason Ronald on Friday, and he actually asked, because obviously here he knew it was going to be at the showcase, and he asked what we were looking forward to the most. And he's really good about he never gives anything away. You know what I mean? So I just said, my most anticipated Xbox game is Clockwork Revolution from In Exile. I said, and he asked me why. And I said, I think In Exile is super talented. And with additional developers, support, money, time, they're going to create something really special. And so we had the watch party. Clockwork got the longest trailer of the Xbox showcase. It was incredible. And after the show, Jason was there. And I said, In Exile, man. He goes, yeah, I couldn't say anything the other night, but I knew you'd be happy. And I was like, yeah, it looks amazing. So I'm super pumped for that game. I'm obviously sad we don't have a release date, but it's fine. Take your time. It looks like the steampunk BioShock choice-driven action RPG that I knew In Exile could make with time and money. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
The coolest part was seeing the room react to that at the community event that you put together, which, by the way, you guys did a great job.
Amazing job, guys.
You did a really great job, man.
I think I'm still tired from it. I have not
recovered. Yeah, you guys put in the work.
Truly, I recovered from SGF like midweek this week. I felt like a person again. But yeah, no, like Clockwork Revolution looks insane. Like was it Anubis writes? I got the vibes too. It's like there was also like Dishonored vibes.
Oh, Dishonored vibes. Yep. 100.
Being able to manipulate the surroundings and time and all that. It's just, yeah, no, that game looks incredible as well. And for my game of show, since it can't be Luminous, geez, it has to be Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
Oh, okay.
I was having so much fun in that booth, and just, I think that the best thing I could say about that game is it kind of speaks for itself, and the language that you're speaking to the game is universal and easy to understand. Like there was a person that was sitting next to me that was speaking a different language, and he was my partner. Mm-hmm. And we were able just to like kind of read each other's movements of our characters and kind of just communicate that way of like him seeing me pull out an ultimate and then him do it like a few minutes afterwards. Like we were kind of waiting for each other. We were good dance partners in that regard.
You could say he carried you. It's fine.
No, I did a carry. Relax here, dance. It's not that crazy. But one of the cool things about Marvel Cosmic Invasion is the combo system. They were talking us through it. They're like, you can truly daisy chain your enemies. Like you can learn these combos as you go through the game, and they get more intricate, they get deeper. And for people that really want to learn the mechanics of the game, that's there. And if you're just like me, who's button mashing, there's still easier combos to pull off to make you feel like you're Captain America, you're Nova, you're Spider-Man, Venom, whoever. And it definitely felt like that, like being able to do quick combos of like switching in from Storm to Wolverine and doing something really cool and badass in that moment. Felt really, really great. And even when there was a lot of enemies on screen, the visual language wasn't overwhelming. It still felt really nice. So Marvel Cosmic Invasion, hats off to you guys for making games feel like I felt when I was a kid playing them in the 90s on my Super Nintendo, but also modernizing the controls and actually elevating the genre with every game they make. Because Jesus Christ, they're gonna do it again.
How about the revival of the beat 'em up, man?
Yeah,
so many good beat 'em ups. I love it. I grew up on beat 'em ups, obviously, because I'm 90 years old. And there's just some really good ones out there right now. Hey, don't overtake me.
So for anyone that doesn't know at this point, Cosmic Invasion, same people that did Shredder's Revenge, Emo, and Tribute Games.
And Streets of Rage 4.
Yep. Streets of Rage 4.
Sorry.
No, you're great. I put up my preview of it today, so I made my video today. Mm-hmm. And like it's just wild when you look at what Tribute Games has made, Flint Hook, Mercenary Kings, and one other one, and then you look at Emu. They're just match made in heaven. And a cool full circle moment for XCP at the Cosmic Invasion booth was Yannick Belziel, who I'd interviewed twice for Shredder's Revenge and the Shredder's Revenge DLC.
Yeah.
So that was a cool, awesome. Like, hey, that's neat. So
that's really awesome.
Anubis asked, was that the game getting Rocket and She-Hulk? Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And many
awesome.
others.
Yeah. more to come on that. They really cool to see the hodgepodge of characters, because it's not like, oh, it's just all the Avengers. It's like, yeah, like She-Hulk and Nova and like some other characters that you wouldn't think would be in there, but they are, just because their kits make sense in the game. I like it.
I have one more, but please, Luke, you got one?
Well, yeah, I do have one more, but Anubis in chat asking if I'll have Yannick on XEP again for Cosmic Invasion. The answer is very likely yes. The difference with Shredder's Revenge and Cosmic Invasion is with Shredder's Revenge, we didn't have to go through Nickelodeon for TMNT. We're gonna have to go through Disney for or through Marvel technically for this one. But yes, we've already talked. We're gonna do this at some point. But timing is everything, and the game's not even ready to come out. It's coming out later this year. Plus, like I'm gonna ask Yannick about things like alternate costumes and palette swaps. And while I know the answer to some of those questions, they're not always public, and so it's like, all right, we gotta talk. So yeah, at some point. And I want to talk about Exoborn before I get this handled. Exoborn, so cool. I put up a video for it this week. And it's like, it's hard to pick game first. Watch our SGs first. Watch them both, like them both, share them both.
Yes, watch them both. Seriously, yes.
This game's so good. I saw hands-off demo last year, and I got to go hands-on it with it this year. And they didn't have controller support set up for the build they brought, or at least the build I played. So I had to play this keyboard and mouse, and I still had so much fun with this extraction shooter that I'm here for it. I'll talk to Joe like he's never played it before, even though I know he has already seen it. Joe, this is our kind of game, man. You're in mech suits, so you can sprint, run, jump, double jump, mech suit. But then you have grapple hooks, so you're Spider-Maning around these levels. Yes, sir.
You said enough.
Right? Right? You have grapple hooks, but I'm not done, my friend, because the whole premise of this is you're diving into this zone where there's extreme weather, like tornadoes, fires, rain, other cool things, maybe fire, tornadoes, you never know. And when you dive in and you can, like, you're running, jumping, grapple hooking up to get to your objective, you tap jump a third time. And if you've got the momentum, your parachute deploys and you fly and glide through the air using the wind movements to get to where you go. So like you would run, jump, glide, fly, see where you want to go. Maybe you want to grapple down and get down there faster, land, and just start wrecking shop in these mechs against NPCs. And the coolest part, Joe, is like we had to go and extract this loot. And we'd battled NPCs, dispatch them. And then all of a sudden I start getting popped. And these NPCs are acting differently. And the lady on the mic, she goes, these are other players. And I was like,
they actually had a part of the dev team in Germany, Sweden, playing so that they could interact with the people playing in Summer Game Fest.
That's fucking cool, dude.
It was cool. It was so
and cool. Shout out to that dev team, because they were some of the nicest people I spoke to all weekend. And I came back when you were going over there, right?
They made a point. They made time for me.
Yeah, they made extra time for you. So I walked back over with you, and the guy, Francois, was like, Ainsley, how you doing, man? And we started chatting all over again. And they were giving interviews, and they were just super friendly, and I wish them all the best. Arc Raiders is awesome, by the way. And that is an extraction shooter, but plays a lot more like PUBG. It's third person, a lot of PvE, very advanced AI, and very kind of sneaky, sniperish type thing. This is like if you took Arc Raiders and mixed it with like Anthem.
And Titanfall.
And Titanfall. Great reference too. It's really
FPS is
really fun.
Don't put that evil on Exoborn.
I think that this, like, seriously, I think this is going to be one of my favorite games. Me and Pampa were already talking about it a lot. So hell, the four of us need to group up and figure that shit out, because it's going to be a blast.
Yeah. Shout out to Jorn on that team also.
Yes.
Because Jorn saw how much I loved it. He hooked me up with some Exoborn like stuff, swag, which was cool, because like I got my pins ready to put on my board. Like I'm excited. I'm like stoked for this game. This is my second most anticipated of the year now. Maybe first. It depends on when their console date is. But
no, I'm with you, because I do think it's going to be one of those games you can just put tons of time into and have a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
I mean, you give me Anthem and Titanfall, made a baby, I'm here.
Exactly.
But then Jorn from that same dev team for Exoborn, they were in the same area as a Dying Light, and he's like, I heard you were interested in Dying Light also. I was like, yeah. He walked me over and made sure I got to go play Dying Light. We actually didn't get to play it that night because we left early because of the protests to get home, to get to where we were. But the next day they still made time, and Jordan gave me a big old hug. And I don't know if he remembers me, but I remember him, and that shit matters.
Yeah,
that matters, man. I'm telling you, I saw a dev that loved his game, was proud of it, and he was like, "What's up?" And just like Ains said, the guy was like, "Ainsley, what's up? Luke, what's up?" from him. And I'm like, yes, I'm supporting your game. I'm buying whatever deluxe edition.
Yep.
Whatever it is, I'm supporting that team. Exoborn's dope.
All right.
Yep. Agreed.
Fair enough.
I got a funny one for you guys. Oh,
go
sorry.
For it.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to bring us over to the next topic. You go for it.
Last one. I don't know if you guys played it. I think you did. I think you did, Joe, for sure.
I just sent you my list.
Where? Oh,
it's in private chat.
I don't look at that.
Yeah,
I mean, what is that? That could be naked pictures for all I know, and I'll save those for later.
Yes.
Probably one of the surprises of the show that I had so much fun with because we laughed the entire time and I didn't expect to was Lego Party.
Yeah.
Lego Party, think of it as, I wouldn't even say more adult Mario Party, even though it kind of is, but it's like Mario Party that's even crazier and funnier, but that is on all consoles and PC with crossplay online multiplayer. And I played that with Alex, and Light actually played with us, Joe, and then another creator from somewhere else. Literally that booth in the middle of the Playdays area, all you heard all weekend long was laughing and hollering from that booth because people were just having a blast with it. So don't sleep on it. It was some of the most fun I had all weekend. I can't wait till it releases. I already hit up all the boys and was like, guys, we're playing this shit because it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, we played with CG Danny B, and he almost stole the trophy from the trophy room. luckily, like, first off, I'm so bad at these games. I was dead last, wasn't even close, and I was having the time of my life. Light was able to take home the trophy for us, and this is how great this game was. It's like she was also like, she was doing pretty good, but she wasn't getting any bricks until the very end. That like the good like switcheroo of like, hey, even if someone's kind of dominating, someone could come from behind and totally snatch it up. Because we really thought it was going to come down to just Kyle and Danny, and then Light came out of nowhere, and I was like, we gotta get her to win. She's the closest one now. How do we sabotage Danny? But no, she went it all on her own, and it was so much fun. There was so much shouting, yelling, and just an overall good time in that.
It was like the old like college dorm room days of playing a multiplayer game together and just giving each other shit and laughing and not really caring who's winning per se, but still talking shit the whole time anyway.
Exactly.
It was a ton of fun. So I'm buying that thing day one without a doubt.
100%.
Yeah. So
yeah. And shout out to the PR person that was there, because they're like, oh, we'll send you stuff that night, and she meant everywhere. And holy shit,
that was Meg, who I've worked with a lot, never met in person. She was super nice. It was cool to meet.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah. Best person I've ever seen at the job, because I would be like, I need sleep. But,
dude, in the past 2 weeks, this is not a joke. The season gaming, we have 2 inboxes. The main inbox, I looked yesterday. In the past 2 weeks, since before Summer Game Fest to today, this is not a joke, 1,600 emails. You can't keep up with that. It's impossible.
Also, I think that's spam.
Yeah, I was like, buddy, you need better filters.
No, seriously. Like, I would say 90 to 95% are actual like game topics, news, industry stuff, whatever. There's some bullshit like, can we put stuff on your site? Like, no, most of it is real. Yeah, most of it's real. It's crazy.
Yeah. I thought it was Mel, not Meg.
That's what I said. Did I?
You said Meg.
I meant Mel. Sorry,
Mel.
I'm drinking.
Yeah. No, you're good. I'm just making sure we're not thinking two different people, because Mel was also awesome. Mel was awesome.
Great.
Yeah, she's amazing. When looking back at this list one more time, I just want to give shout outs. Deadpool was really fun. Enjoyed that. Let's see.
There's so many we could talk about.
Good.
Seriously.
Yeah. Crimson Desert surprised me. Crimson Desert surprised me. I played that one. Wasn't expecting it to be good. And this sounds silly, but Yooka-Laylee, the demo was broken, so there's a frame rate issue with the build they brought, and the poor PR guy was dying because he was so embarrassed. But for real, that game looks like what people wanted out of the original Yooka-Laylee.
True story. I'm in the credits of that game.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, you can see Ainsley Bowden because I supported it from day one because it was the banjo, the new banjo. So I have like a book and stuff from that original launch. Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, Pathfinder Abomination Vaults was awesome. I liked that game a lot. That was a hack and slash ARPG, kind of like Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Okay. Loved that one. I put up a preview of it on XP. They didn't get a lot of traction, so I'm guessing there's not a lot of eyes on this one. But it spoke to me as someone who loved Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance and Gauntlet Dark Legacy a lot, and Darksiders Genesis, which Joe and I played through all together. This was that. And I really liked that one, so shout out to that as well. And there's a bunch, but I know we got to move on to the showcase.
Yeah. So, all right, gang. Listen. Yes. Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, Luke's been putting on videos. We have a Summer Game Fest hub on SG. Obviously, Joe and the Trophy Room have talked about a lot of the stuff on their show as well. So there's more info from the three of us out there if you want to find it.
Yeah. And seriously, last week's episode probably our most popular show. So thank you for tuning in.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah, that means a lot. I think we hit 3,000 listens in the first day. So
congratulations.
Thank you. Fantastic. Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in and just like supporting us, because literally none of the cool things we get to do it happens without your support. Whether you're just watching, listening, whether you're able to support us on Patreon, like Ainge doesn't. It just really does mean a whole lot to us. So thank you guys. That said, I want to move to the main topic of the night. 1 hour into it. Guys, what's happening with Xbox and PlayStation? Why are they talking about the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox? I don't care. I genuinely don't care.
You don't care about the next gen?
I just started getting games that felt like this generation.
That's not going to change. Yeah, I mean I think the carryover, right? When PS6 launches, same thing's going to happen. You're going to have PS5 era games for a few years. It's nature of the beast.
But like for me, it's like it's hard to get excited. It's like, what else can they do to make me go out there and buy the next PlayStation or the next Xbox? Because again, I feel like I have really games are looking beautiful. They're running great.
You have a Pro, right?
I have a Pro. God bless. I have a Pro. Yeah.
Yeah. But and you and I have talked about how much we like our Pro.
Yeah. It's nice.
Right. You paid $700 for that Pro.
Patreon.com/PS-Trophy. Thank you so much.
My point being that if you like what the Pro does, the PS6 is going to be an even bigger jump. Why would you not like the PS6?
Because there's no way it's not going to be $1,000. That's what they're saying online. You know what I'm saying? That's what the rumors are suggesting.
Oh, so you just don't want to make America great again. That's the problem.
Well, I just got from the Supreme Leader and King for a day. He literally said he's going to start taking away holidays because America has got to go back to work.
We need to work more. That's the problem.
Exactly.
And that man looks like he's worked.
Right. He found out the word groceries a year ago. The fucking idiot. Anyway, listen. Stop. It's a beautiful word I just heard. I don't know how to spell it. Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I want to hear why you wouldn't be excited. We're 5 years in, almost 5 years in to this gen, if there are gens anymore, which means by either late next year, which is possible, or definitely by 2027, we are going to have new consoles from Xbox and PlayStation.
God, it seems nuts. Because like for me, it's like I'm just content with the hardware I have. Like, yes, I got a Pro, and that was for the Trophy Room to do coverage on it and to talk about it.
Sure.
But like, I was, on God, no cap. But like, I was incredibly content with my standard PlayStation 5, and I still think like you do not need to go out there and buy a Pro. Still, like your base PlayStation 5 is more than enough. It's a great piece of kit, and so like for me, it's like it's what I have right now works really well. And for me, I'm curious to think what the push is for you guys, because Xbox is talking about, all jokes aside, Xbox is talking about oh hey, this is our most powerful box yet, partnered with AMD, and it's going to be open to more than just one marketplace. That seems to be their big hook, is to try to entice PC players to buy this box rather than going after PlayStation. So I want to know what you guys think on all that. Do you guys think that's a sound strategy, or do you guys think, I don't know
I can talk about this stuff from a tech side for a while, so let me know when you want me to go. Luke, if you want to start, please do.
Luke, go for it.
Sure. This generation's felt weird because we're still releasing games on last gen, and thanks to things like smart delivery, which is a genuinely wonderful feature for Xbox communities, you just kind of got your best version, whatever it was. You're on the Xbox One, Series S, Series X. So like the gen has blended in such a strange way. And then of course you had the early days of this gen was COVID related, which damaged development. But whatever the next box is, I think I'm compelled to get that on account of Enthusiast Press covering it. Plus, my general interests. I want the best place to play the next Gears of War or Halo. But as far as to the core question of Xbox's strategy, which is they're going to have all the storefronts available because it's a Windows device, I do think that's a great way to go. I don't think it's a great way to go to win a console race, but that console race is over. It's no longer a thing. It's just not a reality. That's like that. That is such a tired mentality because the world no longer needs consoles. You can log in and play your games on your TV, on your phone. And that's not a soundbite. Like that's just the reality of it. And I live it every school year. I watch them log into their Chromebooks and play. So when I see the strategy that they're employing, I think it's very smart because they've emphasized cross progression, cross save, cloud saves. They've emphasized putting their games in other places. They are not upset if you spent $600 on a PS5 Pro, $700 on a PS5 Pro, and didn't buy a Series X, but then you spent $70 on Doom: The Dark Ages. They don't care. They want you spend money on Doom: The Dark Ages. You didn't get it in Game Pass. Fine. That helps them. You have your Xbox from the early part of this gen, and you have Doom: The Dark Ages in their ecosystem. It means you're a Game Pass subscriber. They're happy that. So I feel like what Xbox's strategy is I'll say the word unprecedented, but not in like a fanboy sense. This is just a new strategy in the console space and they're pioneering it. And I think it's the right way to do it. So do I think it's going to win them a console? No. Do I think it's the right thing to do for them? Yes, because I have my Steam Deck. That interface is better than anything I've played on any gaming system ever for just accessing, purchasing, and playing my games. Steam Deck, bar none. Bar none. Better than everything else that I've played. So if they can capture that feeling, which all previews account to saying they did with this new Windows approach, but it's all gaming Xbox and it's got all your storefronts, and you're playing Gears of War Reloaded natively and et cetera, then that's a great strategy. And if I can play my Steam library on the next Xbox, you best believe it, because those Steam sales are sweet. And I got to tell you, I don't think that's hurting Steam. I think any fears that Steam would have would be unfounded, and I don't think they are scared. Like, there's no reason not to be. So to anybody listening, keep redeeming those free Epic games every month because you're building a library for your Xbox. If you're on Steam, know that this could be an under the TV box for you if you want that. And if you see a game on deep sale, chances are next gen or by the end of this year, if you could have an Xbox powered device, that'll let you access that game. And with PlayStation putting things on PC sooner and sooner, very soon, it's just going to be day and date as well. Like, I disagree with you, Joe, on the, like, they're going to be a year out kind of thing. No, I think within 2 years, you're getting day and dates because that's just where they need to be. And Xbox is making hand over fist money on it. So, like, sweet. The question used to be, why buy an Xbox? The question, if PlayStation doesn't adapt, might be, why buy a PlayStation? You know what I mean? Like, just because you can get all those storefronts. So I'm excited to see what they got.
All right. Let me put my red cap on. Listen, gang.
He's gonna make PlayStation great again, just like Herman Hulse.
Just
as soon
like
as
my
that
boy
man's out, I'm
Jim.
getting Spider-Man on Xbox. You better believe it.
I
As soon as that
don't
guy's gone.
think it's that. I think our argument is not like it's really like how soon is that happening? I don't think it's incredibly soon, but I do think it will happen one day. Like I don't think it's 2 years, but I'd be happy if it is. I don't care either way. That said, I think it's more of a play for me. Like the way I see it, how my PlayStation brain reads it, it's like, oh, they're making the argument that they're opening up this ecosystem, and it's the same argument that Epic made with Apple, and they see this as an opportunity, not just to, you're right, bring and entice Steam Deck users or Steam people to this much more convenient box. You don't have to worry about, your GPU, CPU stuff, putting it together like a Lego piece. I think that's definitely something that entices them, but also I think it is a argument that could be had later on for them to say, hey, PlayStation, our store's open. This is a closed ecosystem similar to Apple, and kind of open that kind of Pandora's box to kind of weasel their way into putting Game Pass on PlayStation. Like that's what, like I think they want to crack the PlayStation box open and put their storefront and their things on it, and by doing this to their storefront, to their box, allows that to happen, to reach even more people. So that's kind of what I read out of that whole announcement. And again, maybe that's just me, being a truther vaccine, reform guy. But that's kind of just what I read from it.
You need a little tinfoil hat that you could just put on.
Yeah, I'll find one. What's saying you, Ains? I want to know where you fall on this.
Yeah, so there's a lot to say about this from a directional standpoint, and I agree with a lot of what you both said, honestly.
I too enjoy. I didn't even hear him talk.
And I could talk about this for way too long, so I'm trying to think about what I want to say most. So we've talked for years now on this show, even on the show, around ecosystem. It's a word I've been talking around for a while, and Xbox has been moving this direction for a long time, right? They play anywhere, play cloud, access any device. This is an Xbox, right? They've been moving this. I think what's really significant about this announcement as part of the showcase is kind of a couple things. One, and I did again, not to just make statements that sound like, hey, look at me, but like I did talk to Jason Ronald a little bit about this in particular, because what I find interesting as someone who works in the tech space is like where they're going and how they're achieving this. So if you think about Xbox, as Luke said, the console race is done. Xbox doesn't care about it. They're going to make consoles. They just announced again, they already said they're going to continue making consoles. But to them, it's like it's a denominator to their overall picture, right? They're going to spend the investment to put a console out there for the people who still want to buy it. They are not looking at console to drive their success. It's just another device they can use as an in for people who still want to engage with Xbox in that form, which is great. What they're really doing is they're using their tech stack advantage as Microsoft to play in a space that no one else can play in. So if you think of Steam being the dominant platform right now, from a PC perspective, they've kind of now entered in a niche market, the mobile market with the Steam Deck. And they just introduced Steam OS, right? So they want to put Steam on more devices where it's more native and doesn't have to be a PC. So that's Valve. PlayStation, and I don't mean this sarcastically, truly, PlayStation wishes they could do what Microsoft is doing. And what I mean by that is they don't have the tech stack to do it. They just don't. Sony doesn't have that. There's only 3 companies in the world, realistically, that could do it. Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. That's it. Mm-hmm. Google tried. They failed.
Bad guidance. They had great tech.
Yeah, great tech, poorly implemented. They wasn't supported. They did what Google does, and they abandoned it. Fine. Microsoft, to be honest, if Microsoft was in Google's position at that point of time, Microsoft would have abandoned it too. It's different because they have a 20-year-old Xbox brand. That's neither here nor there. Amazon has tried with Luna poorly. They're not really aiming for that space, and so they haven't played there. Microsoft can do it because they have the infrastructure to be able to support global gaming from any device natively to cloud. And so if you think about their access, what they're basically saying is you can buy an Xbox console, you can buy this ASUS or ROG Ally device, you can play on your computer, you can play via cloud, via your phone or whatever device. And that's what they've been driving for a while. But to your point, Luke, what makes it very interesting, and we saw this branding at the showcase is Xbox PC, is they're very clearly what they were showing in the ROG Ally is an Xbox operating system that runs on Windows, but can be used from a gaming perspective for any device. That's the key differentiator. And so what you have is you have an Xbox, anything can be an Xbox device, but now you have an operating system that is intuitive and streamlined enough to be able to be engaged with on any device, be it an ROG Ally, a console, a PC, phone, what have you. And so if they can do that successfully, but it runs on Windows, that's the key. Steam, Epic, GOG, all those storefronts, Rockstar Launcher, they are all built for Windows, right? So you can now utilize those storefronts and those launchers and bring those libraries from people that run on Windows to an Xbox-based operating system. So they're merging the advantage of Windows, they're merging the advantage of the tech stack, and they're making them one. PlayStation can't compete with that. Valve can't compete with that. Not today, anyway. Nintendo, we're not even going to talk about. There's no one else that can compete in that space.
They got voice chat aids. They got voice chat.
Do I have to install an app?
Nintendo just launched an Xbox One in 2025. It's pretty cool. But seriously, that's why it's so important. Now, you can say, is it going to be the bullseye they hope it to be? Who knows? Xbox has tried a lot of things, arguably pretty well in the last few years. It's moved the needle from a revenue perspective. It's not moving the needle from a console or anything else perspective. So, which again, to Luke's point, they don't really care about now. As long as the revenue number's going up and that profit margin is going up, they're happy. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see if they actually successfully launch a device that's plug and play like a console that could run this operating system, but I can pull up Steam on it. That is crazy, because then you can sell that, even if it's $800, $900, $1,000, it's still cheaper than building a PC, a competent PC, right? And you have access to all your games and devices. I think that's really interesting. And to do that on mobile as well is really engaging.
And so my question, because I think there's like a mod on Steam Deck that like you're able to get like
Game Pass,
not just Game Pass, but like you could get other storefronts on there, or at least like their games working on Steam Deck. So like there is a way to get like Epic games.
It's because Steam Deck runs on Linux, and so a lot of people can mod certain code to do that. But your Steam Deck is already niche. Like, people think it's a huge market. It's a couple million. It's already niche. The people who actually mod it to do the things you're talking about is literally nobody. It's a handful of, you know what I mean? It's nothing.
Someone to me, goddammit. So essentially what you're telling me is like, so this Xbox, this future box, right, theoretically could be like, yeah, you could buy games from Steam, but you're in this one place and it's your entire library from all the things in this box. You don't have to interact or open the Steam box or Steam window to open up those games.
Now you're getting into contracting and licensing and other things. My guess, I'm just guessing, my guess would be the operating system can open Steam, but you're still opening Steam. And the reason being is that Valve is not going to allow Microsoft to take that cut of sales through Steam. So if you're on your Xbox, it'll allow you to go to Steam and play that game, theoretically, but as a Windows device. But if you want to buy a game on Steam, you're going to buy a game on Steam. Okay. It's still Steam. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's how Steam is okay with that happening.
Correct.
It's like, well, we're here.
Because all you're doing at that point, all you're doing is Steam is saying, you want to just put Steam in front of 30, 40, 50 million more people? Cool. Do it.
Hey, Luke, could you leave the room for a second? This is for a bit. Like, truly, just walk away for a sec.
No.
This is for a bit.
It's for a bit.
This wasn't planned. I don't know what he's doing.
Just walk away for a second. Just out of frame for a second. Just like wheel out of the frame. Oh God, he sucks at this.
This is absolute love.
Yeah, there you go. He's walking away. Hey, Ains, can I tell you something? Can I just tell you something just between you and me and the audience? You just sold me on the Xbox. Whatever Luke just said 5 minutes ago, not exciting in the fucking slightest. That is actually really intriguing because my thing is, hey, Luke, buddy. Hey,
that's because you didn't listen, you dummy. I said the same stuff.
It's really rude that you're listening in on AB conversations to see your way out. Because like to me, like I'm having PC troubles right now. Like I know we have private chats and like we joke about, and I like to troll like the nerd chat boys a lot, but like I genuinely fucking hate gaming on PC. I loathe it so much. I don't want to deal with the headaches when things don't work. So if you could alleviate me having to go out there and buy all the Lego pieces, put them together, and then figure out all the other stuff in between, eliminate that, make it a box and I'm able to play my Steam games and I'm able to play unify my libraries. That's really exciting. Like
I think that's why they were showing Xbox PC as an actual single logo, because again, Xbox or Microsoft, whoever, right? They have a habit of doing this. They will show you things ahead of time that your normal audience doesn't realize they're showing. And so when they show the ROG Ally, everyone is focused on, okay, it's an ASUS Xbox branded device, Steam Deck competitor, blah, 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 blah. That's not what's interesting. What's interesting is the OS they showed and how you're going to interact with it and what it's capable of doing. And I talked to Asante about this. Asante is a great person in this vein. He knows his shit. And he works in kind of the space.
With the cussing,
dude.
He knows his shit. But he works in similar space to me. So we've had a lot of conversations about this. And so he's super excited for the same reasons. But again, I think the way they're going about it is right, because nobody else in the industry, doesn't matter who you name, nobody else in the industry can do it, because Xbox has the capability of all those things together due to Microsoft's tech stack.
Now, the thing to watch will be twofold. First, it's going to be what's the price point of this device for all the reasons, right? Because like the Switch 2 is just more Switch, but if you had a Switch and you love your Switch, which most people did, then they're happy, right? Like that's okay. You give me more of what I love, I'm happy. Like I always say, like my example is always like, if you gave me another Arkham game that was just Arkham, I'd be happy. So there's nothing wrong with that. But they're going to have to find a way for this device to be somewhat manageable in price, which is going to be hard to do because the best Steam Deck, the OLED Steam Deck's expensive as can be, and that's a niche device. Like they're not selling Steam Decks out the wazoo, and it's the best.
I think the Ally X is going to be $1,000 device.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Now, here's the kicker. In order for someone like me to get it, and that's not meant to be like a shtick or anything, but like that's not. I don't have money to just buy $1,000 handheld, knowing that I'm getting a new console probably next year, maybe the year after, but like probably next year. Like that's a big thing because I've had my Series X over there that I paid $500 for, and I had to like talk to my like, all right, baby, I'm gonna get this as a thing. I've used it almost every day that I've been home since then. By the way, great device, genuinely impressive. Yeah. Like it's not hadn't broken or anything. You're gonna tell me I'm gonna buy a handheld now when I have a Quest, a Series X, a Steam Deck? Like that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to find a way not just to price it well enough that people that are interested know about it or can afford it, but also find a way to get people interested or to find out about this thing, because the ROG Ally, the Ally X, now the Xbox Ally or Xbox Ally X, why it wasn't an Xbox Ally S, I don't know. But like this new thing, you've got to find a way to get people to know about it and sell them on it next to their other devices, because this holiday, everyone's new device is going to be a Switch 2.
Right.
Not a
no, I think the Ally is similar to Steam Deck. It's a what do you call it? A people niche like us device.
Yeah.
A niche,
the hardcore
hardcore audience.
Enthusiasts.
Like, thank you.
I know the rumor
this
on
is
the
strong,
street.
boys. Right.
That's okay. The rumor on the street is like they don't really care how well this thing sells. They just want this thing out in the open and they want hands on it.
To test it, to get that OS going. Makes
exactly.
sense.
So
it's
like
an MVP.
A what?
It's an MVP, meaning minimal viable product, meaning it's a launch, but it's a launch to test.
Yeah.
First of all, you're not going to say that to me like I'm stupid. Second of all, thank you for explaining it because I did not understand
it. I'm sorry, dude. I'm still literally in work mode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's all right. Talk to me about the KPIs. No, yeah. So for me, I don't think it's about like, oh, you're gonna get the verses, whatever. But like, it's not about how many of these things sell. Because like, I think Anubis pointed in the chat, like the Steam Deck, which I love the Steam Deck so much, and even having the Switch 2 and loving it as much as I do, I know I'm going back to Steam Deck in August. Like it's the most comfortable handheld I've ever owned. I truly adore it. But like 5 million, while an impressive number, is still very small. And that is another thing that Steam has tested that Steam OS out on, and now you're seeing them toy with the similar ideas that Xbox is doing, which is like, hey, let's put our OS on other little devices out there and try to grow the brand that way. To me, it kind of seems like they're also trying to, while Microsoft tries to enter the Steam space, Steam's trying to kind of weasel its way into kind of sneakily into the under.
Well, remember the Steam box?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, people forget the Steam box existed, right? Like Steam and Valve have tried to enter the console space and they failed, as many companies have. And so again, I think this is Xbox doing the reverse, starting in the console space, leveraging their tech stack, the more recent PC stuff. Plus, we haven't even mentioned Game Pass, which is another standardized thing, right? So the beauty of this, hold on one sec, Joe. The one thing I forgot to mention, which Ade mentioned too, right, is if you notice in their showcase, they said everything shown here today, including third-party partners, is play anywhere. And so the reason they're stressing that, again, and I don't know if you guys know this, it makes me sad as an old head. The games releasing from Xbox first party this year, like Outer Worlds 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, etc., you can buy them physical on PS5. You can't buy them physical on Xbox. They're not making them.
Why are you happy about that, Joe? And like, so what, Gaines? Why are you upset?
I still buy games physical. That's why I'm upset.
But okay, jokes aside, do you get up and change your disc when you play games?
Yeah, I do. Some of them. I mean, we live in a digital world nowadays, so some of my games, we get codes for games.
Right.
Some are digital, but if I'm buying it, especially like collectors, limited editions, I still buy discs all the time.
I think I've put a disc in my Series X like 5 times, and it was all for like Xbox One.
I know most people don't. I know, but my point being, the reason they're doing that, and even in first party, they're moving towards digital only, is because Play Anywhere and this ecosystem we're talking about only works digitally, right? And so you get people to a point between Game Pass, Play Anywhere, and what we just talked about, where again, regardless of where you're accessing Xbox, again, they got ahead of themselves with this is an Xbox campaign. Regardless, your library is there, and it includes third-party purchases. That's another key. So they're going to try and partner as much as possible when a game launches on Xbox as a platform, and it's from a third party like Expedition 33. Even if it's not in Game Pass, they're going to try to get them to agree to the licensing for Play Anywhere, because what that means, the publisher has to agree to, is that their game can be played on any device, including console, PC, cloud, phone, from one purchase, not having to purchase multiple times.
Double dipping.
Yes. That's a key differentiator that people are missing too. Whereas, like I've called out, Nintendo's over here, but on PlayStation, you buy on PlayStation, a year or two later, they release on PC, it's full price again. Why? Because PlayStation doesn't have a PC launcher. They can't do what Microsoft is doing.
Right.
They have to go through Steam. So makes sense.
I might lose power, just as a heads up. There's a big old storm coming through.
Yeah, storm. Okay. Yeah. So I'll shut up now. I told you I could talk about this stuff all day.
No. I mean,
it's great to hear from you.
It's great.
It's really cool.
Okay, so as a person that owns a PlayStation and a PlayStation podcast, am I in danger?
You're
Well,
set up great for next gen.
Yeah,
I don't know what's
this,
happening in PlayStation.
all of their
They
single
have
player stuff bombed, or not? I'm sorry, I bet their live service stuff bombed.
Yeah,
and
their
single
roadmap.
player is just too far out.
Yeah, they're years behind now. I've told people this. Their roadmap, their first party's dead for a few years at least. And yet their revenue and profits are higher than they've ever been in PlayStation's history. So if you're not paying attention to the actual numbers, regardless of first party output, PlayStation is crushing it. And it's due to, I mean, the PS5 is a great selling console, right? And a lot of people play in that PlayStation space, and they play games like Fortnite and Apex and Siege and all the Call of Duty and all those other games, and they spend a ton of money on microtransactions and cosmetics and everything else that PlayStation takes that cut of, and their revenue is through the roof.
It's one of the things that I was talking about literally the last week's episode of the Trophy Room, if not the week before, which is XDev is going to be more and more important as the years go on. If people don't know what XDev is, that's their extension of working with second party studios or just studios outside PlayStation. So great example is like Shift Up with Stellar Blade. This is their first game that they are publishing outside of the PlayStation 5. Usually that once a game sells like a certain amount of copies on PlayStation through XDev, they're able to find another publisher to publish that game somewhere else. PlayStation, for the first time ever, went to Shift Up and said, hey, we will publish your game on PC. And the game, because Steam players are deviants, has just overperformed. So, like, we're talking almost 200,000 people, off at the same time playing this game. Over 1 million copies sold over the weekend. And
I think it's the second biggest. It's the second biggest. It's the second biggest PS game on Steam behind Helldivers 2.
Yeah, beating Spider-Man.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Last of Us. All those. Yeah.
All of it. So to me, the way I see PlayStation's future is like the box will be as important as the box is until it literally can't be anymore. Like, I think their whole thing is like, let's run this shit into the ground. And I say that like it's a negative, but it's like, I think we're set up for next gen, but I think there are actual serious like question marks for the generation afterwards, but that's a 10-year plus problem to have. That's whatever. And so, for me, the way I see PlayStation's future is actually more in like the publishing side of things. Because they've shown that they're a pretty good partner to their other, they're a pretty good partner to have on the XDev side. So I think growing that wing of PlayStation makes a bit of sense, because as we get into this, it kind of, the way at least it was structured in my brain when you were talking, AIDS, it kind of feels like PlayStation will be akin to the Apple, and whatever this Windows thing happens or turns into, that's going to be like the Android equivalent. It's kind of I don't know.
No, you're right. And and I think PlayStation is really interesting because they leverage their brand. We've talked about that many times, right? Like their brand power. People underestimate how strong the PlayStation brand is. It is incredibly powerful globally. And they leverage the fact that they are also the biggest Japanese company that's not Nintendo. And again, I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean that if you want a modern experience with most of the AAA third-party games and things that create those live service money that PlayStation enjoys, you're not getting that on Nintendo. Xbox is a non-factor in Japan and other Asian nations. You're getting it from PlayStation. Yep. But how long does that last? I feel like we've been talking about the decline of PlayStation for years, and yet they're making more money than ever. So right. I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth again for now. I just don't know what they're going to do. They have to organize first party better. Their live service debacle was a joke, and Marathon we haven't even talked about, was just delayed, right, indefinitely.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
what do you think happens there, dude? Can we jump on that real fast?
with Arc Raiders being as successful as it was, and now
Right.
Exoborn, as we talked about, looking as good as it does, I don't know where the fuck Marathon lives, if I'm honest with you, because I've played all three of them, and I'm telling you that Marathon is a distant third. Like it's not in that ballpark.
Yeah, and I trust your judgment because I think we're into the same type of games. You're very much like into the multiplayer.
I was pumped for Marathon. Me and you were pumped for Marathon.
Yeah,
like, and I enjoyed it. But after playing Arc Raiders and now Exoborn, it's like, oof, I didn't realize how far behind they were. They're behind.
So when you see the indefinite delay, we'll come back to you next fall. Because I was asking Light and Kyle, and they're not multiplayer people, and they're like, "Oh, they'll be back next year." I'm like, fuck it, a year? You think? No.
I don't know.
Do you really think like?
I think this is one of the most confusing questions in gaming right now because I genuinely don't have an idea. They have the win completely out of their sails, and as we've seen with Concord and many other titles where the streamer audience turns you into a negative, which is what happened with Marathon. It destroys your game. You're done.
Yeah.
That happened. Then they have the scandal with the art assets as well. And the entire art direction of that entire game is based in that element. I don't know what you do. I don't have a clue.
Because to me, it's like the easy thing. This is what I said last night's episode. It's like, to me, all this thing, very confusing, whatever, is pieces everywhere. It's like, I think the easier things they have is like how to make this gameplay actually hook and then have a successful loop. That's an easier bit than going, hey, you have less than a year to change this game's art and actually make brand new assets to
never happen.
Right. It's like, because the way that I've heard about Marathon and the art assets being stolen was like, this was what, like, the art being that was stolen was one of the like pitch inspirations. Like, here's the thing on the dartboard. This is what we're trying to
mood board.
Right. A mood board. So it's like the
Don't
DNA
use fancy
of this
buzzwords with me, young man.
Sorry, KPIs. But yeah, dividends. So like, you know, it's like the essence of this game is stolen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know what you do. And Bungie is already not in great shape.
Right.
And they were banking a lot of people, and Travis is closer to this than nearly anyone. He literally speaks to people at Bungie, and the feeling that he's told me was that Marathon is make or break. If Marathon fails, Bungie's going down with it, and they will just be integrated into the rest of PlayStation first party, and that's it. They're done. Which is crazy because who knows what the hell is going to happen with Marathon? I don't know. It's weird.
It's just someone said it here. I think GameFire. They're like on Kind of Funny. They had a suggestion of releasing the game in March and letting GTA kill it without getting the negative headlines. And the game, like, to me, it's like, you're right. The game can't fail. Like, it needs to be a success. And to me,
over 400 people working on it.
But it can't succeed. It just can't. This is a no-win scenario for them. The only way they could realistically salvage this would be to add a single-player component and make it a narrative, and that is a whole rework of a whole. That's so expensive. It's never
gonna years happen. Of dev. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So, what's the plan to release it to a modest player count, put it on PlayStation Plus, and beg people to play it? When they've got Arc Raiders and Exoborn, not to mention Fortnite, Call of Duty, everything else that's going to be
everything else that's already there. Yeah.
And all those games adapt faster. Like Bungie was truly the soured fruit, and they plucked that sour fruit, and they were hoping to get something special. And it, like, this is not a 1-to-1, and it's not meant to sound conspiratorial, but like the very idea that they thought Bungie was the answer while Destiny's been kind of fledgling. Not bad, but not growing.
Right.
And then Bungie had a hand in them killing live service games with IP that people were interested in is just a strange thing.
So if I could just
please, it's not meant to be conspiratorial. I'm not trying to fanboy.
It's the one negative thing that, like, I hate because I saw like Dom's over on X, whatever, Twitter. He's like,
I
this
don't
is
have
what we
Twitter,
could
so I
have
don't
had.
know what you're
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
don't
Well,
know
it's
what you're
like
talking
it's like this is what we could have had. It was like the Last of Us factions if it wasn't for Bungie. It's like
Oh.
literally like from what I understand, it's literally Bungie told them, hey, this is great ideas that you have here, but this is the support you're gonna need in order to keep this thing chugging.
Mm-hmm.
And then Naughty Dog's like, we don't want to be a multiplayer only studio, so we're gonna axe this and maybe use those assets for something else, which I feel like can be what Marathon could be. It's like, hey y'all, I don't know why you weren't working on Destiny 3, because it seems like you should have been working on Destiny 3. How can we take from this corpse and add it into this game that is an IP that people actually, that's known and people actually at times love? So like, that's the only way I see this kind of working. I love the analogy. It's like this thing needs to succeed, but it literally can't succeed. It's
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's
Sisyphus of it all, you know?
yeah, and it's frustrating. I mean, I could rant about this, but Bungie is another studio, a great studio with a storied history that has created timeless games.
Yeah.
That is ruined by greed.
Yeah.
Their executive leadership is toxic as hell. And if you know anything about their executive leadership, or if you don't know anything, you can look into it. I've talked to people at that studio. I've talked to people who have worked there. It is despised, and it's a shame as always, because what happens is all those great artists and all those great developers either leave or get let go, or everything just falls apart while a handful of people make tens and hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's just frustrating as hell to watch. And this could be the nail in the coffin for what is a storied developer.
Do you think like them, I think Travis spoke a bit about it on Bitcast a few weeks back, maybe months at this point, that them maybe consolidating into PlayStation first party is probably maybe the best thing for them?
It
Like,
could be long term, because I don't see how they stand alone as a Bungie studio. Destiny is at the end of its rope unless you're going to make a new Destiny or completely revitalize it like a Destiny 3, which who knows what they're doing, right? It doesn't seem they're doing that. Marathon was their next thing. It's, as we've just discussed. And pieces of their studio, a good chunk from what I understand, were already moved to other projects, right? So I don't know. I guess the short answer is yes, but I don't know what that looks like.
Jeez. It's brutal.
Again, I'm glad I'm not the responsible executive that has to make these types of decisions, because they're not easy. They're very tough, and you're dealing with people's livelihood. But it's as usual, it's a handful of people at the top that just fuck it all up for everyone, and it sucks.
Okay, so I'll end it on this point here on a good note. All right, because I don't want to end it on like, so corporate greed, late stage capitalism, nonsense liberal jargon. I want to end on something fun. So what's our over under on WB Games getting acquired by PlayStation? Luke Lore, you first, bud. Let's go. What could go wrong?
I know this is a bit, but like I haven't even paid attention. I've been so busy that I haven't like seen much of this, but that's the worst steward for that studio. Like Tweedledee over there running PlayStation, and then you got Tweedledum running WB. And it's like, what are we going to do? Like, no, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Also, like, WB's got enough problems before Sony comes in and mucks it up.
And Madam Webs it all.
Yeah, Sony can't do, like, honest to goodness, Sony has done so little right in the last 5 years. They rode like in the gaming space, they rode the highs of their PlayStation 4 generation. They had sequelitis this generation, which, by the way, again, I'm not dunking on that, because if I get more of what I want, I'm a happy guy, right? Spider-Man 2 with more Spider-Man, I'm happy. Okay, got more God of War, fine, happy. Like sequelitis time, sure, whatever. But Sony's video or movie division is a mess. Sony's gaming division is a mess. So their hardware sales prevail wonderfully, as Ain said, but like they're not.
Well,
they're not built for the future.
Part of it is not great, but like their productions. like Sony, like not Sony Pictures as a whole, but like their
Yeah.
productions are
You have to like
production studios and games are the things that keep PlayStation afloat. And so the way I see it, what Sony wants, and this is the crazy thing, is like, hey, we have all these shows, we know how to make some good stuff out there. They really want a streaming service. They have Crunchyroll, they have like the other anime one. I'm sorry, I'm not a weeb. And they legitimately, for whatever reason, want a streaming service. And I remember last year they were talking about Paramount, maybe that being something they purchased. Remember the meme of Sony owning the Halo show? And it seems like WB is doing this very weird split off into 6 different companies, and they have been looking for buyers for literally years and nobody wants it. Nobody wants it.
It has to do with the way the IPs work. Like, those are good studio. Like WB Montreal, good studio. They're doing something, by the way. I forget what it is. Like, they have a project right now.
Sure.
WB Montreal, Eidos Montreal.
Eidos is helping work on is it Perfect Dark, or am I thinking that's Crystal Dynamics? Eidos is helping work on something big. Someone help me. But is it Bond?
Yeah,
it might be. I don't. There's no way for us to find out.
Yeah,
Googling.
I'm sorry, guys. My simple answer is
no.
The only thing I know about this show is I saw your post about it. I'm that busy at work, I haven't even seen it. I think what Luke says is fair. WB is a train wreck right now. As a company, they're a train wreck. Sony, or PlayStation, I should say, first party, we just talked about, not great. I don't know what the hell would come out of that. What I would say is they're already taking one of my favorite studios in Insomniac, and they've spent several years now making only Spider-Man games with one Ratchet and Clank, which I'm already not happy about. Adding DC to that mix would only annoy me more. That's also me personally. So I want to see PlayStation get back to creativity. Things like Astrobot, right? I loved those. I mean, bigger games, of course, but creating PlayStation 4, what they created in that generation, which they're, to Luke's point, riding the coattails of in the PS5 generation, was brilliant.
Yeah.
What they've done in PS5 era is not great, to be nice.
Yeah.
I want to see them get back to that PlayStation 4 era where they're working with their classic IPs, they're building big, awesome games, and they're doing so effectively for their audience. Not chasing trends, not only working with licensed IPs and all that nonsense. Give me the great games you know you can make well. They have endless IPs to pull from. A ton of classics. Just do that. It worked for you. Why did you try to change? I don't understand.
Yeah, no. Well, it's greed, right? They see all these, they see all these live service games.
We only made $1 billion. We won $5 billion.
Yeah. Exactly. They see all the microtransactions that could be just pure profit if they own one of these things. And so they're like, let's turn Naughty Dog into a lot. It doesn't make any sense. It's why we get so excited when we see Intergalactic, or we wonder so optimistically and like impatiently for whatever Santa Monica is making. That's not the God of War game. And we're like, Intergalactic looks new. It looks different. And yes, I know everybody hates Neil Druckmann because of whatever, but when we hear like, oh wow, what would be a Naughty Dog take on what From Software storytelling is, that's exciting. Like, that seems at least
Naughty Dog's
genuinely
incredibly
new.
talented.
I mean, it's like, the beautiful thing about PlayStation was like, at least what I liked about it was like every generation, they were not afraid to make a change, to use a different IP, or just to do something new and different. It's why we love games like Soros, or not, sorry, like, well, we will. Soros, we believe. Like games like Returnal.
I'm already in. Let's go.
Yeah. Right. Like games like Returnal, because it's like, oh, this is a new idea. This is a studio hitting it big for the first time. We need more.
The best game they've made on PS5.
Yeah. God bless. Well, Astrobot exists. But like, it's when they do weird stuff, they're really good at it. and to see them just go, hey, we're you know, I one post said it perfectly on Blue Sky. They're like, the one thing that I'm not excited about the future of PlayStation was when Herman Hulst talks about all this IP, he talks about synergies. He never uses the word fun.
I saw that.
Yeah, good
like,
post.
God, yes. Where's the fun?
Mm-hmm.
Give me that. You know,
and the stupid thing is, like, you have IPs. If you really want to have an online multiplayer game, you have IPs that are culture to that you're not even leveraging.
right.
And you don't have to go all in to where you have to do 12 goddamn AAA live service investments. That's stupid.
You could be using that the engine that they're making with Spider-Man, all that Marvel IP money, because they're spending money to license that. You could be using that on Infamous. You know what I mean? You could be using that in
where
other
the
worlds.
F is my Twisted Metal?
Right.
What are you doing? There's
That's
literally
a live service game right there.
There is no one on the market doing vehicle-based battle royale that you could do with characters that are beloved by a giant fan base that you have a successful TV show with that's getting a second season.
Yep.
What are you doing?
And
it's
truly remarkable how mismanaged so many of these things that we cover are. And it might speak to how difficult it is to run these empires. It might speak to the fact that greed is just destroying it, which I think it's the latter.
It's
right.
Both, honestly.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I do want to loop back to the core question of WB for just a moment. WB, it was announced a few days ago. It was split into 4 divisions of focus on a different IP to include Mortal Kombat, Harry Potter, DC, and Game of Thrones. Now, Schreier actually talked about this months ago. He even was kind enough to come on XEP. This is where I first got my true like face-to-faces with Jason Schreier and got to know him past the meme kind of thing. And he was right about all of these restructurings. And specific to DC, it's mostly Batman with a few kind of tangentials in there. And then you look at Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 1 got shut down prematurely. Meanwhile, Street Fighter's going on to season 3, and Tekken is coming in and still going. And you got a bunch of other fighting games. Fighting game market's healthy. Strange to see Mortal Kombat shut down early. No mention of Injustice this year. And then Game of Thrones got a cool trailer or two at SGF for a game, but what's going on with Game of Thrones? Because the show's been over. Like, I know there's tangential, there's like spin-offs and other stuff, but like, is that truly a pillar IP? I don't know. I'm not dunking on it.
No, yeah, I think it is. I think, and when I see like, here's what the things we're working on, it's like, hey gang, look at these valuable IP that we have. Isn't this something that you maybe want? Ooh, remember Game of Thrones? You know, that's what I read. It's like, look at Mortal Kombat. It's like it's like they're dangling keys in front of, you know, a C-suite exec saying, please fucking buy us. David has no idea what he's doing.
If Iron Galaxy can't make the new Killer Instinct, nobody's paying to license Mortal Kombat, because Killer Instinct, like everybody doing it. Like everybody wants it. Like it's one of those things. It's just like, I just think WB is such a train wreck that people are gun shy to work with it. And I use that as a joke almost, because I truly think there is a lot riding on this new Superman movie. 100%. A lot of jobs riding on it, because if they can hit it out the park, which it looks good in preview, if they can hit it out the park with that Superman movie, then what that does is rebound the DC brand a little bit, because that is a very damaged brand. It's damaged on almost every front. And so I'd be really interested to see how that impacts the gaming space, because Gunn has talked about that, like merging and doing better with this gaming space. Because it wasn't too long ago we had Suicide Squad. We also had a successful Batman title in that same universe with Arkham Shadow.
Sure.
But that's just on Quest. Where's the PSVR version? Where's the Valve or the Steam version? Aliens Rogue whatever the incursion game is for Meta and PSVR, that's getting a flat screen version, like getting out of VR. So like you have all these, I know this is all like stretch imagination, but my point is trying to get niche things into everyone's hands without paying exorbitant licensing fees is just difficult. And what better to loop this to PlayStation. That's what PlayStation should be doing. Knock it off with the licensed stuff for a bit and crush it with what you have, because they had so many talented people there.
And the one I think the most optimistic news story that I've read from PlayStation was like a few months back. They talked about they want to license their older IP out. This is what you should have been doing years ago. Why are we just talking about this, guys? You have Jack and Daxter. Like, I don't know what you're doing, not using that IP. Why are we not seeing a goddamn Sly Cooper game from someone? Like, you know, it's like you
Plenty
have
of indies would take that on.
Exactly. And so it's frustrating to see them just whittle it down to these bullet points of IP that's precious to them, while not understanding that Game of Thrones is only going to be so popular for so long. You need to take some fucking risks out there, boys. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I was going to say, I don't know if this is valid or not. The data is going to be really in depth. You got to look at the KPIs, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But
Indeed.
But I think the problem with these gigantic executives looking at IP value as their sole measure of what to develop in the gaming space is probably a mistake. We've seen that in the past, because take Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones was a gigantic IP, became one of the biggest HBO shows. We all know the history there, right?
Yep.
How does that translate to the gaming space, though? What percentage of that audience of Game of Thrones is an active gamer outside of mobile, outside of web, right? Where the spaces we're talking about today. And if you're going to put your AAA studios for PlayStation, Xbox, and or Switch 2 in that space, what percentage of that audience is actually in that net that you're casting of that IP value? Because I think what we've seen before is when you only look at IP value as a measurement of what's going to be successful, you're often making a pretty damn big mistake and missing your core gamer demographic. And so I don't know. I just feel like these companies seem to be missing the mark. And it's crazy because what we're seeing out of the indie space and the AA space are a lot of smaller studios, publishers, indie developers, whatever, that clearly know what your core gaming community is looking for. And they're just having hit after hit after hit. We just played a bunch of amazing coming games from smaller studios. And it's like they have a fraction of the funding of the things. Holy crap, I heard that. Yeah.
All right, we gotta go.
That was in my house.
Holy shit. Go. Okay, we gotta go.
And I'm the one in the Midwest. But anyway, they have a fraction of the dev spend that these gigantic WBs do, and yet they're being more successful. So I don't know, man. I just don't know.
Let's just take a look at Luke right here. That's a face of a man that just shat himself.
In Kansas, Christ. We'd be like, oh damn, it's Wednesday.
That startled me because I'm on noise cancelers.
Right. I mean, even it captured it on Mike. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. And just to end it here, it's like look at the games that are totally crushing it right now. Right. Like I see the Altars is getting some love, but look at Expedition 33. Right. Yep. This is nobody thought that this game would take over the discourse. And for the last month and a half, that's all everybody I'm seeing online talk about. It's selling over 3-4 million units. It's getting its own movie like adaptation. Like it's getting the Hollywood treatment as it's a hit amongst fans. It's like we're forgetting what got us here on the big AAA level, but on the indie AA level, that's very much still alive. So like be on the lookout for your Devolvers. They're great, but also be on the lookout for like your Keplers and all that stuff. That's the future of games. All right, boys, listen, we got to go. Luke's got to assess the damage because lightning probably hit his house. We don't know. It
sounded like it.
I'm surprised like nothing flickered,
Same. Jesus I'm surprised Christ. I'm still here, guys.
All right, let's get on out of here then. Let's go. It's been fun, but we got to go. Luke, what do you got to pitch for us, bud?
I will just ask that anybody take the time to check XEP and SG because we've both been doing a lot of preview coverage, and I know we're very different outlets, but it really has been awesome to see like our small channel doing previews and stuff. And Logan put out a review of Tron Catalyst, and then SG's just been crushing it with their coverage. And I will say unapologetically, thank you to everybody that supported any of our shows, because getting to see you guys in person, you guys are some of my best friends. And so it means like the world that we got to have dinner and hang out and see each other and just laugh. And like the vibe that people see here is the vibe that it actually is. And that's the coolest part.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
And I like how Luke did give the trophy room a compliment. I was like bracing for like and I love what Light and Kyle are doing at the trophy room, but not even that. Cool. I'll remember it.
Not so much the trophy room, but 6-1 Indy. Those guys are making moves. It's
hard. Dude,
let
me tell you guys.
That's cool. It's cool. No, it's all love, honestly, from support for all three of us and our individual outlets, channels, podcasts, whatever. Means an awful lot to us. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We do this show so rarely now that it's fun to get together. We felt we needed to tonight. And the fact that, so many people showed up to hang out with us is awesome. Machine, you're super chatting right at the tail end here. So I'm going to grab this while we're talking. He says, Machine XP $5 super chat says, Carnage put it perfectly. A lot of people hate live service, but if they love a game, then they want to keep playing it because of the game and the IP. 100%. And I think that's right. I think that, as we said, PlayStation has that IP, and how they've mismanaged it so spectacularly is kind of baffling. I think we'll be talking about that for years to come, but 100%. I mean, the two guys, not to put words in your guys' mouth, but you guys have played Fortnite now for years, and you still play it, from what I understand, regularly, all the time. As do tens or hundreds of millions of people. And it's the same type of thing. I mean, Matt Piscatella talks about that all the time, is that there's people playing games every day and spending more money than ever, but they're spending it on a handful of games that they love. Yep. And I think that, PlayStation not being able to figure out how to capitalize on their brand and IP strength and translate that is kind of wild, honestly.
Luke's about to die. That.
So it might be. I love y'all.
Anyway, Machine, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, just check out SG. We got a Summer Game Pass hub still hanging out. Plenty of stuff up there you can check out. Other than that, it was great hanging out with these guys. As Luke said, the vibe is just like this in person. It was a ton of fun. I hope we get to do it again next year. And other than that, I'm gonna go have some more to drink and have a good night.
Yeah, there you go. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. Just seeing you guys in person, seeing Ains in person. God, I've seen Luke enough. Was like literally, I was like, that's the thing I'm most excited to see is my friend Ains, and so that made the trip all, it was fun. All worth it. Yeah, love you guys. You guys know where to find me. You know the show. You get it. You get the assignment.
Donkey Kong Bonanza Game of Year.
Fuck, we didn't even get to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Holy shit, that game rules. All right, everybody. Love you. And keep casting that co-op. Boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. This is our theme song that I'm making up on the fly. I thought he would have ended the show by now, but he's not. Make the button for the
I'm making him go. I'm making him go.
That co-op. Boop, boop, boop.